Welcome back to day one of the Dick's Sporting Goods Open here at Enjoy in Endicott. As you can see, that rain's starting to come down, but it actually didn't affect play at all thanks to dueling starts on holes 1 and 10. As I mentioned, a hectic day in play. We'll waste no more time and get you straight to the highlights. The day started off with a bang, as it seemed as if every golfer was hitting birdie after birdie. Brett Quigley was the early leader, birdieing on his first 2 holes before taking a stroke off 3 straight holes on 8, 9, and 10. After a bogey on 11, Quigley got hot again with a birdie putt on 12 right here, before finishing at 4 under on the day.
It's always more fun when you make putts, and started out birdie the first 2, so that kind of set the tone. Playing nice, a little sloppy today, but making a lot of birdies, so that's normally a good thing for me.
Another fast start was Richard Green, coming off his first career win, getting circles on 4 of his first 7 holes.
Setting up a lot of birdies and making the putts, really, and probably on the more difficult of the 2 nines too. So for me, it's pleasing to play that back 9 well.
But from early tee times, it would be Jason Schultz stealing the show. Looking for his first career win, he birdied 4 of 6 holes on the front 9 to end the day 5 under, tied for second as he walked off.
Well, I started driving it better, and so I was getting in positions where I could get at some of the par 5s, and I was able to put myself in positions off the tee, basically, that kind of changed, swing the round around pretty quick.
Between the early tee times and those Hall of Famers later, some fun was had on hole 9. Whether it was Rod Pambling hitting an eagle shot from way out, or fan favorite John Daly's second birdie of the day that erupted the crowd around him.
Nice.
Or even Rocco Mediate chipping in for birdie on 17.
That's a nice chip. Get in the hole.
Then came the big boys. Ernie Els, Miguel Angel Jimenez, Vijay Singh, and Darren Clark all played well enough on the front 9 to set themselves up. Clark would birdie on 7 and 9 along with 12 to find himself with a respectable 4 under. In the same group, Singh worked his magic to get right next to the pin on 9 and 12, eventually wrapping up with a 4 under day as well. Els was the leader of the pack there, taking 4 strokes off between holes 4 and 6 with an eagle before hitting a tap in on 10 to put him at 5 under with a bogey-less day.
It's just a nice, fun golf course. You can get on a run, as I say, and but there's some holes that are sneaky. You know, you got to move the ball right to left and left to right. So I've always been always kind of like that. I can move it both ways, and I just got to get the putter warmed up, and hopefully we'll go one better than 2 years ago.
Along with Jimenez, who followed up a 4 birdie front 9 with a score of -4. But if you looked at the leaderboard, day 1 was really a one-man show. Joe Durant, looking for his 5th career win, absolutely raked, starting his day with 2 birdies on his first 4 holes, before hole 7 was the beginning of 3 straight birdies for the Florida native, after cleaning up his day with 3 circles on the final 4 holes. Durant walked away at 8 under, 3 strokes better than anyone else.
You know what, I'm just trying to resurrect my golf game right now. I've really struggled the first half of the season. I played well in Madison 2 weeks ago. I'm starting to see some signs of life, but I still have a lot to work on.
Going into Saturday, just 4 strokes separate the top 13 golfers for what should make a great final 2 days at the DSGO here in Endicott. No one has ever gone end-to-end in a Dick's Sporting Goods Open winning, but Joe Durant, with a 3-stroke lead, is making a good push with him. Ernie Els and Schultz just 3 strokes behind him at -5, and a slew of guys right behind him at -4 and -3, tied throughout. I want to get out of this rain probably as much as anyone else right here. That's all for sports. I'll be right back after this.
Day 2 of the Dick's Sporting Goods Open. A humid and heavy day on the course did not prevent some beautiful shots throughout the day, such as John Houston draining this one for birdie on 17 to tie for 7th on the day, who would shoot 5 under in the second round. Up the leaderboard we would go. 2022 champ Padraig Harrington would have 7 birdies on the day, including at 18 to be placed at 9 under heading into Sunday. The reigning champ preferring the comeback route this year.
It's easier chasing, mentally easier chasing. Clearly I'd rather have the lead and be out front, but you know, when you're chasing, nobody really knows. You know, if you go out there and play well, great, and if you don't, nobody really sees that so much. So it's always it's a lot less stress being the chaser.
Tongchai JD also in the group and also shooting 9 under in a tie with Harrington, looking to continue the performance heading into the final round.
My best tomorrow. I mean, it's 9 under, finish for 2 rounds, I think make me a chance for tomorrow.
The leader after the first round, Joe Durant, would not find a birdie on the front and play par golf. The back would lead to finding 3 and the last one being on 18 green, a lone spot at 4th place at 11 under. Brett Quigley would have a solid day on the links, having 8 birdies in total on the day, sitting tied for first at 12 under and half of those birdies on the final 4 holes to wrap up the day.
Back 9, I played well. I think I hit every green or had some good putts at it. If you get going out here, you feel like you can make a bunch, and I knew I needed to keep the pedal down and keep making birdies. Unfortunately, I did.
The second of the 3 tied for first place, Miguel Angel Jimenez, who would also have back-to-back birdies on 11 and 12, but still says the short game could use some fine-tuning going into tomorrow with the lead in hand.
I'm happy. I'm very happy. I'm been hitting very good, hitting very solid. The only thing I need to keep working is a little bit more in my short game and my pattern,
The final of the 3 tied for first, World Golf Hall of Famer Ernie Els, who also had 7 birdies on the day, 4 of them on the front, 3 of them on the back, but would par the last 6 holes. His third time being in the final group will be tomorrow and knows his A game will have to be on regardless of what Mother Nature has in store.
In the final group tomorrow again, so I mean, I've got to play. The last couple of times I didn't play very well on Sunday. And you've got to shoot in the 60s at least to have a chance. And if the weather's like this tomorrow, then you've got to go low. So you just got to go accordingly.
It has been a beautiful weekend at Enjoy, minus the rain a little bit, but it will all come down to Sunday to who raises the Charles Schwab Cup.
After one of the most competitive DSGO tournaments in recent memory, we finally crowned a champion earlier today. Let's get to some highlights and have some fun.
Absolutely, and first we start off with some of the highest risers of day 3. We'll take a look in the second highest round of the day at 8 under with Y.E. Yang, who walked into today at 3 under and would string birdies on the first 3 and an eagle on the 5th. Yang would get 1 more birdie on the front before getting 2 more on 16 and 18.
Another hot performer on Sunday, Darren Clark, who would place tied for 5th, having a round total of 14 under and shooting 7 under in the final round this afternoon. Clark would be tied for the second most birdies on the day with 7, 5 of them being on the front 9, with the last 2 on holes 12 and 16.
Dickie Pride would also have himself a day as well, shooting the same score as Clark at 7 under, but would try and make a last-minute run on the back with birdies on 5 of the 9 holes, including 12 and 17, which he birdied on Saturday as well.
Now here's where the fun begins. Our last 2 groups of the day. In Group 1, they're all tied at 12 under. Miguel Angel Jimenez, the Spaniard, who went 8 under yesterday. Brett Quigley looking for his second career win, and the Hall of Famer Ernie Els hoping his third DSGO is the charm.
And with Group 2, it's Joe Durant, 11 under, just 1 stroke back. Tongchai JD, last year's runner-up at 9 under. And, of course, last year's champion, Padraig Harrington, also at 9 under.
And that's exactly where we start. Thomas, hole 1. Harrington was the first golfer of these 6 to birdie a nice approach, a quality putt. What do you think? It's happened for the pros. Harrington's 10 under after that. Crowd loving it.
And it's not the only one to birdie on 1, though. JD, Thailand native, sinks the far putt, puts himself at 10 under, 2 strokes separating the top 6. JD finishes the day at 5 under, wrapping up the tournament at minus 14.
Not to be outdone, the leader of this group, Joe Durant, wanted to join the fun. He taps in on 2 and then again on 3, a par 5. How about 3 straight? We go to 4, and Durant flexes the putter uphill, takes him 2 strokes on the par 3. Durant takes the lead at 15 under. What a way to come out of the gates.
Ian, don't forget about Group 1, though. Jimenez had a good tee shot on 4, but a better putt. This thing traveled across state lines, and he sinks it. Jimenez birdied 3 and 4 to go 14 under so far, 1 stroke back. But 3 bogeys to end the round kept him at 12 under for the tournament, tied for 8th.
Same hole, and Ernie Els gets his putter warmed up. The Big Easy puts out a slow roller and dunks it. Els would pick up birds on holes 4 through 6, and again on 8 to find himself at 16 under.
We jump to hole 9, where we can't forget about Brett Quigley. He's fighting from behind. A great approach shot just next to the pin. An easy putt for the Rhode Islander. He's still 12 under and would end up at 14 under to finish tied for 5th with Clark and JD.
And right before him on 9, it was Harrington nearly eagling, but he settles for the circle putt to get him to 11 under overall. That putt will set him up nicely as after the turn, Padraig Harrington staying cool before birdieing on 13 for his second straight, putting him at 13 under thus far.
And he needed to, as his groupmate Joe Durant would miss this birdie putt, but it was fine because he birdied holes 10 through 12 to get to 17 under already. He has a one-stroke lead on Ernie Els.
Yeah, Thomas, after going 4 under on the front 9, Els would cool off. Here's a par putt, but eventually the dam would break for him. Els birdied 16 as he cleared the trees, and now we have a tie at 17 under between Ernie Els and Joe Durant.
But Ian, here comes the 2022 champ yet again, Padraig Harrington, coming back, and after birdieing 15, the Irishman has a chance at an eagle to put him at 17 under and tied for the lead. It's far, but no sweat. He drains it, and the crowd is loving it. They want to see a back-to-back champion.
To 17, and Durant and Harrington tied at 17. Durant's a ways away from the pin, looking for a birdie, just misses it, while Harrington stuck it about 5 feet away, and there was no way he was missing that. Padraig takes a one-stroke lead going into hole 18.
Well, Ernie Els still in it, though, at 16 under, and he would need to birdie the last 2 to get to a playoff hole with those 2. And on 17, Ernie pushes the birdie and puts it right and just enough for a tap in for par. So it's a 2-man race going down to the final hole.
Durant on the rough on 18. A birdie here ties it. Tough ass Durant with a great shot, but it spins out in a great effort by Durant. He knows he needs a bogey or better from Harrington to win it.
And Padraig knows it too. He shot for birdie. He lays it just short, but good enough for the tap-in.
And he would do just that. Padraig taps in, scores 18 under, and is your first ever back-to-back winner of the Dick's Sporting Goods Open. A 9-under day and a stretch of 5 birdies and an eagle does it for Patty.
Obviously a shock, a surprise, you know. Couldn't have seen that coming with 9 holes to go, but you know, you got to stay patient, really consciously looking to see, okay, what do I need to do? And you know, I knew I need to keep pressing, and it just seemed everything went right for the last 7 holes.
We'll have a one-on-one interview with Harrington after weather.
And we'll take one last quick look at the leaderboards. Patty wins. Durant is the runner-up. Ernie is third with Dickie Pride at 4. Quigley, JD, and Clark tie for 5th. Jimenez finishes 8th. Y.E. Yang gets 9th, and Hall of Famer Vijay Singh ties for 10th.
Welcome back. Joining me now is a back-to-back Dick's Sporting Goods Open champion, Padraig Harrington. Padraig, eagle on 16, birdie on 17. What's going through your mind down that back 9?
You know, I just got on a run. Good things were happening, and you know, when that happens, you actually try not overthink it. You try not really think about it too much. You just play, let it happen. Don't overanalyze it. Really do try and just leave it as it is. And I was nicely in the zone for those last 7 holes, and I could do no wrong.
Absolutely. And last year it was raining the last round. It felt like the 18th hole there weren't nearly as many people. It's raining now too, but to come in, people cheering your name, right? People clapping. What was that like?
I had great support, so it felt like a decent crowd to me all week. I know at the early tee times maybe the numbers aren't the same, but it felt good to me. Maybe also because I won last year, I had more support this year. You know, more people knew me, more people came out to watch me as defending champion. So yeah, it felt good for me all week.
Absolutely. We'll get you out of the rain. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Padraig. Have a good rest of your night. Thanks so much. We'll send it back to the studio right now. Good evening, and thank you for joining us here for Fox 40 Sports here at the Dick's Sporting Goods Opening. Joining us right now, PGA Champions Tour golfer Billy Mayfair. Billy, how nice is it to be back in Endicott here in June?
Oh, it's real nice. A lot better than being here in December or January, that's for sure. But you know, we enjoy coming back here every year. The golf course, the community is so welcomes us up with open arms, and we enjoy coming. I think this is my 27th tournament here, and because I played when it was the BC Open and all that, and we enjoy coming back here every year.
Yeah, and what was your earliest memory here at the BC Open / Dick's Sporting Goods Open?
Well, I think, you know, just getting back here to see the golf course and see everyone, but to play the golf course and familiarize myself. But, you know, I love this golf course. I love, you know, it's in a small little box so the people can be out there. I think the front side's inside and the back nine's on the outside so people can walk all over the golf course. But just being close to everybody and the crowds being loud. And like I said, they're just wonderful. They're on 18, and what a great setting that is.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been very open, very public about kind of your diagnosis of autism recently, in the past couple of years. For you, why is it so important to be so open about it, be so public about it?
Well, my biggest thing is that I learned that no matter what, I've been diagnosed with high functioning autism, and even though I've been diagnosed with that, I know that I can have a normal life. I can do what I want to do, and I'm trying to get that out to older people to get diagnosed, to help them maybe learn some things about themselves, and to get to the young people that say that even if you may have high functioning autism, you can live a normal life, have a normal job. And in fact, a lot of CEOs and presidents of companies are actually looking for people with this condition because they know how focused we can get and how we can do things so well. So it's a win-win scenario.
Absolutely. And now, I mean, you're looking back at your golf career, looking back knowing this now, do you think that helped you at all?
Absolutely it did. I think God definitely gave me this because I was able to go to the golf course and spend 4, 5, 6 hours at the golf course and be all by myself and just enjoy myself to death. And also being able to travel. This is my 40th year doing this stuff, and a lot of hotel rooms, a lot of airports, and it gets really hard, but I think because of my condition and all that, it makes my job a whole lot easier.
Yeah. Lastly, what are you looking forward to most this weekend?
Well, hosting that trophy up on Sunday would be the nice, but I hope the weather's good. I hope a lot of people come out and make a lot of putts and see if we get a chance to win on the last 9 holes.
All right, thank you so much, Billy. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's all for Fox 40 Sports. We'll be right back after this.
Dante Bertoni won the New York State High School Golf Championship this June and earned himself his way onto the DSGO Pro-Am, where he got to play with one of his heroes. Fox 40 Sports director Ian Mills has the story.
It seems like everyone in the Southern Tier knows Joey Sindelar,
I'm gonna.
a Horseheads native who won the BC Open twice, and soon enough, everyone in the Southern Tier will know Dante Bertoni, a Union Endicott junior who's coming off the pinnacle of his career so far.
He's the state champ. I mean, that's awesome.
After getting the New York State chip, Bertoni got a call that made his win even more special.
Mr. Cruz' son Jake was bringing me home and from the state championship, and he's like, "My dad's calling you right now." And I answered and he told me, and I was just in complete shock. It was great.
But that was just the tip of the iceberg. Come the draft party, Bertoni had the second pick and knew right away who he was getting.
Well, he was our first pick. I was hoping he didn't get picked first because we had second, and he didn't, so it was perfect.
And why wouldn't he be? The most popular man at Enjoy.
When I came here, he was always like the hometown hero. Everyone would be watching him.
Well, until this year.
Well, it was fun because a couple of my buddies said, "Well, we were looking for you," and we saw a lot of people, and we said, "Oh, that's the mayor of Horseheads." I said, "No, that's Dante with all his peeps because he's hot and he just won the tournament."
And that crowd erupted when Bertoni and a teammate each hit eagle putts on hole 16.
Let's go! But he stood there and did it, and not in a comfort place that he's used. I realize he knows this course well, but as soon as there's gallery ropes and people and there's a camera, and he stood right there and did it. So it was just very fun to watch.
Despite any last-minute nerves.
I would say I wasn't that nervous until 2 minutes before I hit my tee shot. I was very excited leading up, and I was still excited, but the nerves really hit me.
And throughout the round, whether Joey was giving golf advice,
he hit the ball different. When it comes off all the pros clubs, it's just different.
Or advice for the future,
he actually told me to stay up north, and play golf.
The biggest takeaway was,
be yourself. That doesn't mean don't look to others for advice or little things you do, but be yourself. I think that's how you'll be your best.
Sully Murphy is in just his second year as superintendent of Enjoy.
You're outside all the time, it's nice.
But he couldn't be more familiar with the Endicott golf course.
Grew up here. I actually worked here when I was in high school and college, and then went down to Florida for 6 years after I graduated, and then came back when this position opened.
So last year was Murphy's debut, so to speak, with one of the tougher asks for any groundskeeper as the Southern Tier saw a drought that lasted well over a month prior to play.
We just used a lot of water management. We used a lot of wetting agents and pellets to our benefit of being able to hold water in the soil. So we weren't using as much overhead water that we needed to, just enough to keep the plant alive and healthy during that time.
At what point after that DSGO, after last year's tournament, did you guys start prepping for this year's?
Immediately right after. A week after the tournament last year, we went into aerification, which is punching lots of holes in the greens and tees and fairways and approaches, giving us air movement and kind of breaking the seal that you create when you're mowing constantly and rolling every day.
And come day one, come Friday, once guys are playing on the greens, hitting the fairways, at what point you're like, okay, we're good, we did our job?
That starts right from the end of last year, right into this year. So as soon as, they leave, we're continuing our processes and cultural practices all year long, trying to get the place ready for this year. And once they step foot out here, it's kind of a relief in a sense, being that, okay, they are here, it did happen, but it's not over until that last putt drops on Sunday.
And when it does, Sully and his crew get their flowers as tournament staff raves about the job Enjoy was able to do.
That's a lot. We work really hard. We're here from sun up till sundown, especially the week prior and the week of. There's a lot of time and effort that goes into this, and my staff appreciates as much as they can. And they love it here. They love doing this. They look forward to this all the time, and it helps us recruit more staff each year just because we have a tournament here.
You mentioned sun up to sundown, maybe not the most glamorous job in the world, but you get guys to buy in, right?
Yep. No, it's not the most glamorous job. We work a lot of hard hours. We're out here in the rain, in the sunshine, 95 or 65. It doesn't matter. We're here all winter long, trimming trees through the snow and ice and sleet, and they work very, very hard, and it's a real instant gratification to see the product that you can produce when it all comes together.
And now as we sit just days away from the 16th Dick's Sporting Goods Open, it's just plug and play.
So we'll get everybody ready. Everything that they're going to do that day is what they're going to do for the week, so they're comfortable. And then Monday morning, it's smooth sailing from there.
Until next week, when that preparation starts all over again. Have you ever wondered who those guys were, lingering in the back of every shot? Well, they're the marshals, and whether it's crowd control, setting up the ropes on the course, player and patron safety, spotting wayward balls, it's a golf lover's dream.
I love golf, so I figured it'd be a way to enjoy the game, even if I can't play, and get out and help the community.
Despite the fact that there's actually not much golf being watched.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've done this for quite a few years, and my friend and I were talking about it. We've actually seen very little golf during the tournament.
Except for one hole.
18 does get the big crowds back at the last day when everybody walks up that last group on the final Sunday. It's really a kind of cool.
And despite countless Hall of Famers walking the Enjoy greens, Melville's favorite memory is just doing his job.
Probably one of the rain delays, actually, that we had to scramble for. It was just a torrential downpour, and everybody worked together, and we got everybody off the course. And it was kind of tough to do, but we all pulled together and did it.
Though it makes it even more special when those Hall of Famers do recognize the hard work put in.
On the senior tour especially, the players are very amicable. They'll walk right up to you, talk to you. So yeah, over the course of the years, I've got to meet a lot of the big names in golf: Phil Mickelson, Fred Funk, Ernie, John Daly.
Whether you want to eventually get to Leska and Melville spots, wear an orange cap and be a hole captain, or just get to facilitate some pro golf, head to dsgopen.com and head to the volunteers tab.